Forgot your plans again? Your brain may be hiding a truth nobody told you. You promised yourself you would remember, and somehow the day still slipped away. Someone reminds you about dinner, and your stomach drops before you even answer. You replay the conversation because you truly believed you would never forget it. After enough moments like this, you start questioning your own memory every day. It feels impossible that important plans can disappear so quickly from your mind. Most men quietly blame themselves without knowing what is really happening inside. The surprising reason has much less to do with memory than you would imagine. Your brain may have been protecting something else instead of storing that plan. Once you understand why this happens, you may never judge yourself the same again. When someone tells you about a future plan, your brain makes a decision before you ever notice it. It quietly asks whether this information feels urgent enough to deserve valuable mental space. If nothing demands immediate action, your mind often delays giving that plan full attention. You hear every word clearly, yet the commitment never becomes deeply encoded inside memory. Psychologists call this perspective memory because it stores intentions for the future. Unlike past memories, these plans must wait quietly until the right moment finally arrives. That waiting period makes them surprisingly vulnerable to distraction and mental overload. Your brain keeps solving today's problems, while tomorrow quietly slips into the background. The stranger part is that you still feel completely certain you will remember later. Confidence often replaces preparation because remembering feels easier than it truly is. Then the day arrives, and nothing inside your mind pulls that hidden plan forward. It feels like your memory suddenly failed even though the process started much earlier. The problem was never forgetting at the last second, but failing to anchor it first. Your brain cannot retrieve a future intention that never became mentally important enough. And the reason some plans never gain that importance is even more surprising. Your mind is rarely as quiet as it appears, even during the calmest moments of the day. Many men carry invisible checklists that continue running beneath every ordinary conversation. Work responsibilities, unfinished tasks, and future worries quietly compete for attention. Without realizing it, your brain keeps rehearsing problems that still need solving. That silent activity slowly steals focus from promises made only moments before. Psychologists call this mind wandering, and it happens far more often than people realize. The brain naturally drifts toward thoughts it believes are more important for survival. A future dinner cannot compete with a problem your mind thinks needs fixing today. Your attention quietly leaves the conversation before the plan fully settles into memory. Later, it feels as though the plan simply vanished without leaving any trace behind. The truth is, your brain never treated it as finished or safely stored information. It stayed trapped between awareness and distraction without becoming truly memorable. That is why forgetting plans often has much more to do with attention than memory. The deeper issue is not carelessness, but a mind constantly preparing for what comes next. And what creates that endless preparation reveals an even bigger psychological pattern. For many men, forgetting plans begins long before the calendar ever reaches that important day. The brain constantly scans for threats, responsibilities, and unfinished situations that feel urgent. This habit once helped humans survive, but today, it often works against peaceful daily life. Modern stress keeps your attention locked onto what feels immediate instead of what is planned. Even during quiet moments, your mind keeps asking what still needs to be handled next. That constant scanning leaves very little space for future intentions to settle deeply. Psychologists know that chronic stress narrows attention toward survival above everything else. The brain protects you by focusing on pressure, even when no real danger is present. That protection comes with a hidden cost, because future plans receive much less attention. It is difficult to remember tomorrow when your mind refuses to leave today behind. This is why busy seasons often bring forgotten appointments and missed conversations together. Your memory is not becoming weaker because your attention has become heavily occupied. The more pressure your mind carries, the less room remains for quiet commitments to stay. Understanding this removes guilt because the struggle has a clear psychological explanation. And the way memory finally chooses what to keep is even more fascinating than this. Your memory was never designed to keep every promise and every future plan equally alive. Instead, it constantly ranks information by emotion, meaning urgency and personal importance. Plans that create strong feelings naturally receive far more attention inside your brain. Simple commitments without emotion often fade before they become lasting memories at all. That is why exciting trips stay vivid, while ordinary errands quietly disappear from thought. Memory behaves less like a calendar and far more like a spotlight in a dark room. It shines brightly on what feels meaningful and leaves everything else barely illuminated. When your mind is already crowded, that spotlight becomes even smaller than before. The plan still exists, but it never receives enough attention to remain easy to recall. This is why reminders sometimes succeed where memory alone quietly falls short. They bring forgotten intentions back into the spotlight before they completely disappear. Your brain remembers connected experiences far better than isolated future commitments. Once a plan gains meaning, it becomes much harder for your mind to ignore later. Forgetting plans is often a sign of overloaded attention rather than weak intelligence. The good news is your brain can learn a much better way to remember them. The goal is not forcing your brain to remember everything through willpower alone every day. The goal is making important plans impossible for your attention to quietly overlook instead. One simple habit is imagining yourself completing the plan the moment you agree to it. That mental picture gives your brain a stronger reason to remember it later. Saying the plan aloud also helps transform a passing thought into a lasting intention. Writing it down is not weakness because it extends your memory beyond your mind. Highly organized men often trust reliable systems more than memory itself every day. They understand that attention is limited even when intelligence is exceptionally high. The less your mind carries alone, the more clearly it remembers what truly matters. Small routines slowly teach your brain which commitments deserve lasting attention. Each successful reminder builds confidence instead of feeding guilt and frustration. Over time, remembering plans becomes a habit instead of a constant daily struggle. Your brain works best when it cooperates with simple systems instead of pressure. Real improvement begins the moment you stop fighting how your mind naturally works. And that changes the way you see yourself every time you make a new plan. The next time you forget a plan, do not rush to believe your memory has failed you. Remember that attention always comes before memory, and one cannot exist without the other. Your mind was never empty because it was already carrying more than you realized. That does not make you careless, and it certainly does not make you less intelligent. Sometimes, the busiest minds simply struggle to make future intentions stand out clearly. Understanding this replaces guilt with patience and frustration with genuine self-awareness. Once you work with your brain, remembering plans becomes far easier than before. The strongest memory is often built through attention instead of natural talent alone. Subscribe for more psychology videos that reveal the hidden patterns behind everyday behavior. You may discover your mind has been working for you more than against you all along.